Iba a continuar con lo de la historia secundaria adicional, pero me percaté de un detallito. Parece ser, no es una escena muy grande, pero al menos da una continuidad a justamente algo que se me olvidó que había pasado con Sofía. Como es que la dejaron de lado, ya no supimos nada de ella. O sea, muy bien, super. Nosotros nos fuimos y ya se cortó muy feo en ese sentido. Así que, pues a ver.
I know it's a lot to take in. I wish I could have been with him in the end. Knowing your people would be safe gave him comfort. He went peacefully. Thank you, Laura. Our oaths have been fulfilled. What will you do now? This is still our home. We will rebuild. But there is much work to be done. There are still enemies in this valley. And there is still much to discover.
Y pues supongo que esta fue nuestra gran escena. No sé si...
Is it? And what are we protecting anymore? The source went with Jacob. We all have to ask ourselves some difficult questions, and I won't judge those that answer differently.
Ok, al menos está abierto a la al cambio. Y sí, no todos tienen que seguir el mismo camino.
Hello there. You've seen those totems around some of the caves? Be careful around those places.
No me digas, no me digas. Alguna otra conversación interesante, al menos aquí cerquita.
Greetings. I never got a chance to thank you. My brother was held in the gulag. He said you rescued him.
Lo siento por no quedarme, pero escuché, bueno, leí lo que dijiste. Ay, qué grosero de mi parte. ¿Dónde están todos? A lo mejor allá abajo. Anyway. Voy a darle un vistazo a las conversaciones que hay por aquí, a ver si encuentro a Sofía de nuevo. Y si no, pues supongo que me pasaría a la mansión a ver de qué se trata esa pequeña, supongo que es pequeña aventura. ¿Cómo llegaba? Veamos. ¿Hace cuánto fue esto? A lo mejor para ustedes no mucho, pero ya tiene unos días. Aquí es.
Hello.
No.
There's a white wolf out there. I've never seen her myself, but I've heard she's only out at night.
¿Cuándo es de noche aquí? Supongo que a veces será en alguna zona en particular, dígase las primeras.
What was Sophia yelling at you about?
I left some tools out overnight. She doesn't quite seem to have her father's even temper.
Give her time. She's hard on us for a reason, but we'll survive because of her.
Greetings.
Bueno, no nos tienen...
You won't find wolves on this side of the valley. We've made sure of that.
Pero tienen osos. Vale.
Hello. Many of our people worked the mines for the Soviets. Even after we drove them out, they died of a strange sickness.
¿Cómo se le llama? Gradiación.
If you're looking for a lynx pelt, you'll have to find one of them. They prefer the warmer side of the valley.
Greetings. You've seen the mine by the old Soviet facility? Many of our people died there.
¿Dónde están los...? En mi imaginación ahora hay muchas gallinas. ¿Y dónde está Sofía? ¿Cómo es que llegaba al pueblo? ¿Era por aquí? Digo, a la parte norte del pueblo, ¿si era por aquí? Ah, no. Estoy yendo hacia Krems. ¿Cierto? ¿Cuántas monedas junté en el de esto? 101. ¿Cuántas monedas hay en este juego? Para, si es que se necesitan comprar, si es que se pueden comprar todas esas mejoras. Sí, sí. ¿A poco toman este camino para llegar a su otra parte del pueblo? De seguro hay algo que no he visto. ¿Cómo llegué? Pues siempre es por aquí. Sofía. ¡Ah! ¡Ah! ¿Qué hacen ustedes aquí todavía? Ah, miren qué brazo tan fuerte. ¿Quién falta? ¿Quién dice eso? Ok, estos también son todavía agentes de Trinity, me imagino. ¿Quién más? Que yo esperaba encontrar gente normal en este lado del valle. ¿Dónde está Sofía entonces? Ay. A ver, no, de ahí llegué. Oh, no. Ay, mapas. Creo que más fácil me voy a mover. No. ¿Cómo llegué? Estoy perdido. En fin. Creo que aquí lo voy a dejar entonces y voy a ver qué onda con lo de la mansión. Ahorita le pongo una pausa y ahorita les seguimos. Ok, aquí estoy de vuelta y ya nos está diciendo que Aquí hay documentos obligatorios por lo visto para completar la historia.
Final notice to Lara Croft, current tenant of premises. This is to serve as your final notice for the purposes of terminating your ownership of Croft Manor. You are required to immediately vacate and surrender possession of said manor to Atlas de Mornay, executor of estates.
Lara, it is unfortunate that you have forced my hand in this matter, but so be it. As you know, your parents appointed me executor of the estate in the event of their absence. Since your mother disappeared, her death was never technically declared. And given the circumstances surrounding your father's death, it's no surprise that he never drafted a formal last will and testament to account for this circumstance. Unfortunately, you have no legal claims to the estate. I'm willing to negotiate a modest monthly stipend from your trust, but only if you leave the manor by week's end. Don't fight me on this, Lara. Your mother wouldn't want that. Sincerely, Atlas.
There has to be a will or some kind of evidence of what happened to Mum in the manor somewhere. Dad's safe.
Es lo que suena más obvio, pero no creo que sea tan fácil de abrir, ¿sí?
Needs a combination. It's got to be in Dad's papers somewhere. Maybe in the library.
Díganme que esto es algo más de investigación. Ya me está llamando la atención. ¿Quién es?
Stay crown. I was so proud of that thing.
Ah. ¿Qué edad tenías, Lara?
That's my handwriting. My penmanship was pretty good.
Ok. Los papeles que vimos al final. ¿Qué es esto? Veamos.
Well, this is a hell of a thing. I met someone tonight, quite unexpectedly. But it shouldn't have been, it seems. I've been so buried in my work, so distracted by my latest revelations, I never bothered to notice my surroundings. But there she was, sitting at my table in the library. Her name is Amelia. And apparently she's been studying right next to me. Art history, of all things. I shared some of my research against my better judgment, but I wanted to see how she would respond, and she did not disappoint. I felt as if I was suddenly engaged in a mental game of chess, moving and counter-moving in argument. At one point, that poor old librarian had to shush us as if we were children. I feel so foolish for not having noticed her earlier. She's a brilliant woman who's challenged my ideas for the first time in memory. In truth, I don't know if she's feeling as exhilarated as I am right now, but I dare say our conversation was mutually stimulating. For the first time in a long time, I find myself thinking about something else besides my research. I hope she returns for another round tomorrow.
Ok. Como dice aquí Lara, vaya manera de flirtear con alguien. Pero ciertamente por lo visto fue emocionante. Aparentemente.
Made a good team, challenging each other from the start.
Suena bien.
Dad would have liked me to go to Oxford, but I insisted on UCL. Yep, looks real. Roth once offered to forge me a fake diploma to show Dad.
Ah. Ok. Vaya. No me tenía que enterar de eso. ¿Qué hay aquí? Nada. Ok.
A picture with Dad and Anna. Never liked wearing dresses, but the color was nice.
Ahora que lo mencionas, no te hemos visto mucho en eso.
This is probably my grandfather Benjamin.
¿Qué era? ¿El hijo del abuelo entonces? Ah, bueno, Benjamin creo que es... No, sí, creo que es niña, pero no sé si...
I finally introduced Richard to the family. It went precisely how I imagined. I see but polite grace from mother, indifference and disinterest from father, and thinly veiled contempt from Atlas. Of course they don't approve. To them, Lord Croft is the man who took away their beloved daughter and ruined her long-standing engagement, though I was never going to marry that repugnant Earl of Farringdon anyway. One might think they would be happy that I was being courted by a genuine lord of the realm. It just happens to be Richard Croft. In their eyes, the man who single-handedly ruined a once great family. But there's nothing to be done now. Watching how Richard dealt with their subtle insults and disrespect. Such grace and calm. I know he did it for me. I think I'm falling in love with this man. It will break my mother's heart, but I cannot live the life she imagined for me. My time with Richard has only made this clearer.
Y las...
It must have been hard for Mum to go against her family's wishes. I'm glad she did.
Bueno, eso lo dices ahorita. Quizás de haberse dado el otro modo hubieras pensado diferente, pero bueno, parece ser que la mamá no cayó tan pronto como el señor.
Dad's map of the forgotten cities of northern Syria.
Aunque bien podría ser haber sido el miedo de la familia solamente.
He was closer than he knew to finding the prophet's tomb.
Pero ya no sé, pero de nuevo. Oh, aquí sí hay algo.
Dad's book about immortality myths might be useful in my research.
Por cierto, aquí no parece ser que tenga armas. ¿Qué es eso? Lara, examina.
One of Dad's Yoruba masks, a gift from a friend he met on an expedition in Nigeria.
No. Vaya fuente. ¿Para qué será? ¿Para que la gente tome? No estoy muy seguro de eso. Ok. Supongo que va a estar tan oscuro que no va a ver. Oh, junto al lago. Si eres un lord. Digo, si tienes una mansión de un lord. Y por acá. Pues no veo mucho, pero aquí.
The door to the library.
Ah, también tengo un mapa. Espera, primero hay algo aquí.
This is the map I made for my first expedition with Dad. It shows a path to the library through the servants' passages.
Ah, sé que hay pasajes secretos. Bueno, no, pasajes de los sirvientes, sí. Tiene mucho tiempo esta casa.
Locked. There's got to be another way through. Dad's artifacts from the Nile Valley. I always loved looking at these. Dad became interested in immortality myths after his expeditions to Egypt.
Y por eso llegó a la fuente de vida. Tiene mucho sentido.
Hi, Dad. I've been thinking about Mum lately. I wish I knew more about her. How did you meet? What was she like?
Winston told me that she was a brilliant artist. Are some of her paintings locked up in the West Wing? And I guess I just want to know, did she love me, Dad? Did she ever say that she did? Maybe I'm just being silly, but will you tell me more about her the next time I'm home from school? Hi, Dad.
Sin comentarios, Lara. Ok. Supongo que ya habías mencionado algo al respecto antes, pero esperaba algo más.
Well, hello there, Sir Lancelot. Don't worry, I won't be boring your sword this time.
¿Estamos seguros de eso?
The Grand Hall. Always loved playing in here as a kid. This will be one of the first things to fix.
Por cierto, ¿dónde veo los documentos? ¿Dónde está el mapa? Estás.
This is the map I made for my first expedition with Dad. It shows a path to the library through the servants' passages.
¿Qué es esto? Esta es la habitación de su papá. Parece ser la oficina, el bicho. Y este es el gran hall. ¿Qué sería esto, no?
Too dark. Going to need a flashlight.
Bueno, ya no estamos de aventura, ya no llevas todos su infinita munición de... ¿Cómo se llama? Soy yo, los ojos se ven diferentes en esta parte. Ok. Bueno, como americano o del occidente diría uno, vamos primero por la derecha.
Lara, you know the West Wing is off limits.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to see...
We've been through this.
Was Mum's room in here?
Just stay out of there, darling.
Dad was always so protective of the West Wing. Locked. Need a key to open this.
Y estamos en su propia mansión, pues.
This belongs to Anna. Most of her belongings are in the guest house. What was she doing in here? Someone has a sense of humor.
Right. Veamos, parece que aquí abajo ya no voy a encontrar nada más útil. ¿Qué es eso?
A phoenix figurine. I bet this appealed to Dad's idea of immortality, of rising from the ashes and being born anew.
Se ve bonito. No pensaría que es un fénix. Supongo. Veamos, qué dice acá. Lara, ¿desde cuándo no estás en este lugar?
Not sure. I really need to brush up on my ancestors one of these days.
Alguno de estos días, cuando no se esté tan ocupado.
What are you doing sitting there on the floor, Mistress Lara?
Looking at the compass, thinking.
What about, if I may inquire?
Just thinking about discovering faraway places, about finding adventure.
I'm sure you will, my lady. You've the soul of an explorer. But don't grow up too fast.
Y se le cumplió, supongo.
The offer came in the post last week, and I still haven't told Richard. He flew ahead to Tibet, where I will meet him shortly. I never told him I was submitting my work. Never thought there was a chance of being accepted. Oh, but a gallery tour is not something I can pass up. The show will take me away from England for over a year. I'll begin in New York and travel across the United States and, oh, God, I'm giddy even writing these words. When Richard and I were married, I was prepared to relegate my painting to a hobby, but it was Richard who objected, who gave me my atelier and studio. Without that support, I might still be painting boring landscapes. Now I can't shake the foolish sensation that leaving would be a betrayal. He will laugh at that and insist I accept, even though I know it will break his heart to be apart. He never once asked me to sacrifice any part of my life for his. I have, of course, in 1,000 small ways over the years, but he would never ask. The discussion can wait, and I will join him in Tibet. I won't cast a shadow over his find. I will be by his side in his triumph, as I know he will stand by my side, in time.
Tenían una bonita relación. Eran una bonita pareja, por lo visto.
Since your return from your expedition to Yamatai, I've grown increasingly alarmed at your erratic behavior. I can only assume you suffered some kind of psychological trauma and are only acting out as a call for help. I want you to know that I hear you, loud and clear. Anna and I agree that it's time for you to be evaluated by a professional. I took the liberty of arranging an introduction to a highly qualified colleague of mine. You should be receiving the details in the post soon. I want to impress upon you the importance of this, Lara. As executor of the estate, it is my duty to see that it is left in capable hands. And if I may be blunt, you're acting like your father when he was at his worst. He nearly lost the manor himself in those days. I'd hate for you to repeat his mistakes. I encourage you to embrace the help I'm offering. Sincerely, your uncle.
¿Qué fue lo que contó de esa aventura? Me pregunta, digo, cualquiera se preguntaría eso.
Another one of Dad's immortality artifacts. I think Roth bought this for him from a trader in Greece.
El Ouroboros. Un dog de Ouroboros, por lo visto. O al menos está basado en este mito. Ah, caray. ¿Puedo salir?
Hey Jonah, sorry for not getting back to you sooner. I've decided to do some research at the manor. A lot has happened and I need some time to think about what I want to do next. This old place is filled with memories and secrets. Uncle Atlas has tried to keep me out of here for so long I don't even know if I want to keep it. But after everything that's happened, maybe I can find out what it still means to me. If it's worth fighting him for, I'll let you know how things worked out when I'm back in London. Got to remember to pack this for my next trip.
también muchas baterías.
Should be able to explore the dark now.
Ok, ya me estaba preocupando. Veamos qué tanto sabe. ¿Cómo es que no te vi?
Lara, I've reviewed the report from your therapist. I have to say I was surprised to see a clean bill of health. I somehow doubt you've so easily abandoned your irrational claims. Indeed, where have you been the past few weeks? My secretary discovered that you booked a flight to Turkey on the 20th. You can't have been simply sightseeing, as your customs claims suggest. I know you're up to something, and I'll be damned if I let you use the Croft assets to indulge the same obsession that led to my sister's death. It's not too late to relinquish your claims on the manor voluntarily. If you refuse, I will find a way to cut you off. Sincere.
Vaya. Sí, yo soy el que ahorita tiene... bueno, ciertamente sin el testamento está difícil de demostrar.
Amelia, the news has reached Mother. She knows that you broke off your engagement with the Earl of Farringdon. She is beside herself with worry. But, for the moment, she's controlling the narrative. As far as anyone knows, you're just having innocent second thoughts. But the moment your affair with Lord Croft goes public, it will be too late. Our name will be as ruined as this man you've chosen to bed. Don't you see that you're being selfish, Amelia? Please, consider your family. You're a de Mornay. Everything you do has a greater effect on us all. I'm coming down to London soon. Don't do anything rash until we have a chance to talk.
¿Hace cuándo no hay? ¿Cuánto tiempo no hay sirvientes? Parece ser que el que le hablaba Lara de niña era uno.
Part. Maybe I should just let my uncle have this place.
Oh, genial.
They say a good test of a relationship is how well you travel together. Well, I'd say Amelia and I have passed that test with flying colors. Indeed, these last few months in Egypt have been nothing short of extraordinary. She and Roth get on like old uni chums. In fact, the two have spent more than a few nights drinking and playing cards into the wee hours. Despite her decidedly proper upbringing, Amelia's taken to roughing it more than I ever have. She fits in and connects with the local populace with such amazing empathy. Because of her, I've had a bit of an unexpected breakthrough in my research. She managed to convince an artifact dealer in Old Town to sell me a magnificent and quite unusual Tibetan scroll. From what I can tell, it seems to contain details surrounding an immortality ritual of some sort. I think it's time for me to take the next step with Amelia. In fact, I don't think I can wait any longer. I will ask for her hand tomorrow in the bright Egyptian sun amidst the dust and ruins.
Por eso el dicho que dejarás de
Surprised he asked her to marry him as soon as he got the idea.
impuestos. Ok. No tengo gran verdad. No hay nada malo en eso. Aunque iba a decir, como dice el dicho, dejarás de un gran hombre. Al menos así era antes. Oh, genial.
Amelia, I know we have had our differences in recent years. I've tried my best to keep an open mind about your relationship with Richard, but I just can't let you go on this ill-conceived expedition without saying my piece. You say Richard's theories have merit. You say that he may have actually stumbled upon some mythic, unknown truth, but I have seen nothing to support such claims. And while your word may have been enough in times past, I cannot let you squander away what remains of your name and reputation, and that of our family, truth be told, on some damned foolish crusade. I intend to go to Richard's investors and let them know exactly how he's spending their money, but I want to give you a chance to put a stop to this yourself. Please, don't go to Tibet. If not for me, at least for Lara.
Vaya, gracias por usarla. Ok, no está tan mal como esperaba este lugar.
Just as creepy as I remember.
Pero no tan malo como esperaba.
My lord, I hope this missive finds you on a successful expedition and in good health. Before I bore you with estate affairs, I wanted to let you know that our little angel has been into some mischief. As always, I indulged her in our usual game of chess. Over the course of the game, she broached the subject of her mother. She's having trouble remembering her now, and wanted to enter her ladyship's atelier, which you sealed off, to play on her mother's piano. It enraged her when she wasn't allowed to go in, of course. For someone so young, she has such strong emotions. Later in the day, she set a trap for me in the walk-in freezer, of all places. And before I knew what was happening, I found myself locked inside. Mrs. Sheffield discovered me an hour later, shivering and somewhat peeved. It took us an additional hour to find Lara in the grounds. I know all her hiding places, of course, but this time she really did not want to be found. Call it years of observation, but I can tell when she's out of sorts. My lord, if I may be so bold, she misses you fiercely. She is lonely for her father. Please consider a call as soon as you are able.
Poor Winston. I remember being so angry. He was always so patient with me.
Ya se escuchaban señal grande, así que... Sí, supongo que... ¿Y a dónde te llamaba para empezar? Simplemente me estás tocando. ¿Sí? Aún así no me gustaría estar aquí.
King to Queen 1. I'm going to win this time, Winston.
Clever girl. But you should know by now, winning isn't everything. Queen to King's Bishop 6. Check.
Easy for you to say. You always win. Knight takes queen.
What I mean to say is try to enjoy the journey, Lara. Don't rush to victory. Bishop to King 7.
I know, Winston. I just want... Oh no! I didn't even see that.
You should also know by now, I'm not to be trifled with on this board, young lady. Mate.
Oh, I am going to win. Someday.
¿Ganaste, Lara? Ok, aún no puedo. Play.
I would play chess with our old butler Winston on this board. Never could beat him.
Oh, ok, eso me responde. ¿Qué estoy buscando aquí?
I always chose white. Maybe if I let him go first once in a while, I might have won.
¿Quién sabe? Complicado. Supongo que tanto te enseña.
I'm at a crossroads now. Good Lord, that's such a cliche. But there's truth in it. Two roads before me. Both present joy and compromise. A life with Richard, adventure, intellectual pursuit, perhaps a new family. But also a man obsessed with something I cannot understand. Or a life of obligation, upholding the de Mornay name, embracing our traditions, not losing the family that raised me. Oh, this really is a rubbish choice. I don't want to lose them. But I love the life I've started to build with Richard. He comes with his own difficulties, but I can accept them. Will it be enough?
los pequeños detalles que ella dejó ir, decía, no los veo tan pequeños. Supongo que es de perspectiva. Pensando lo que era la familia, ya no importan tanto.
Everything is almost ready for Mistress Lara's birthday expedition surprise. It's been a bit of an all-hands-on-deck effort organizing the affair and keeping it secret. She's obsessed with Egypt, memorizing hieroglyphs and ancient Egyptian districts, so she'll be delighted with what Lord Croft has come up with. This will be good for her. She's been acting up of late, but I know she's just craving more of her father's attention. He's been so buried in his research. It'll be a nice moment for the two of them to reconnect. And I do believe he needs it as much as she does.
Y un buen bottom, ¿cómo se dice en español? Un buen mayordomo, por lo visto. ¿Había algo más que se me haya pasado por acá? No parece. Ok, vamos a quitar esto del camino. Ya te vi.
Dad loved a good bottle of wine. I can still smell his favorite Bordeaux.
Es elegante. Digo, sé que eran sirvientes, pero en serio no había un camino más.
This is it, the basement of despair.
Indeed, Lara. Muster your courage, for this is the only path to the Library of Infinite Knowledge.
Look there, see the string?
An ancient Egyptian tripwire. The keepers of knowledge want none to disturb their treasures. We must tread carefully.
Let me lead. I know how to spot all the traps.
I'm sure you do, my darling. Lead on.
Supongo que se refiere. Esto es lo que es parte de la aventura que mencionaba. Aunque me imagino que no estaba inundado en ese tiempo. Vamos para aquí. No estoy seguro, pero por acá había... no, pues aquí no hay nada. Pero por aquí debería ser capaz de llegar a... sí,
One of the wire traps Winston made for my birthday expedition. Winston used my hair ribbons to make this. He and Dad put a lot of work into this birthday surprise.
Ya no estaba funcionando. Pero aquí...
water damage from the main hall above.
No esperaba que no hubiera algo que esquivar.
My stuffed bear. I couldn't have a tomb without a mummy.
De tierna. A ver, ¿dónde se supone que estoy? ¿Esto se ve en el mapa?
This is the map I made for my first expedition with Dad. It shows a path to the library through the servants' passages.
A ver, sí, aquí es como bajé. ¿Dónde está el viñedo? ¿Cómo se llama? No, no es viñedo. Las cavas, pues. Esto no lo vi. La momia, la crampa. O sea, yo estoy ahí cerca. Qué buen mapa hicieron. Pero aquí ya estoy a oscuras. Esto debería de llevarme a la librería. Qué onda tan más fea. Seguramente sería por otro lado. Esto ya no era parte de la expedición, ¿verdad? Ahí estás.
This bust of Anubis was from Dad's Egyptian collection. He must have put it down in the basement for our little expedition.
Digo, si hacía su colección privada, no hay quejas.
Plans for adding electricity to the manor. Dad used to say his granny hated all the bright lights. There's a missing page.
Indeed. ¿Será que la necesite?
Amelia left tonight. She packed her suitcase and walked right out of here, and I didn't even notice. Like those days in the Oxford Library before we even met, I just had my nose in a book, lost in my own world. I am such a fool. I have let my obsession with this damned ritual of long life rule my better judgment for far too long, and it may already be too late. How could I have not seen this coming? I've made this mistake over and over, always putting my research before my personal life. But it's never hurt like this before. I simply cannot live without her. If I have to give up this accursed quest that has plagued me for so long, then so be it. I am going after her, right now, tonight.
Ok. Y de nuevo empezó bien, pero sí se obsesionó mucho. Lo malo de todo. Una mala elección de palabras.
Okay, Dad's ledger has to be in here somewhere. Hopefully it has the combination to the safe.
Además, como iba diciendo, es la balancear la vida, los intereses personales con la nueva vida en pareja.
I've created a clever little map for Lara's birthday expedition. I used the invisible ink Amelia picked up for me in Morocco so many years ago. At the time, I remember being so annoyed by that rather aggressive street vendor, but she just smiled in her sunny way and paid him without a second thought. I assumed it was just a tourist scam, but it actually works. Turns out it requires a very specific kind of vellum and a heat source to illuminate the ink after it's dried. It should prove a nice challenge for Lara to puzzle out.
Wait. Pues supongo que entonces este mapa no tenía las marcas.
Expedition with Dad. It shows a path to the library through the servants' passages.
O todo el mapa estaba invisible entonces.
Needs something to light this.
¿Puedo subir? No veo. No parece. Ok, sí puedo. Espera, todavía no. Primero aquí abajo.
I remember this now. Each district in ancient Egypt had a symbol and a number. I always preferred these symbols to the actual number hieroglyphs.
Para no tenerme que preocupar, déjenme le tomo una foto y con mi celular. Así ya es más fácil. Nada más vuelvo a esta página. Digo, me fijo en la galería. Ah,
This was always one of my favorite books in this library. I used to trace hieroglyphs.
Source material. Where did I see this image?
Dad, I think it's this one, in the chapter on Egyptian districts.
Why, yes, I think you're right, Lara.
I remember the page with the illustration of Ra.
My goodness, you've been paying attention, haven't you? This could be an important breakthrough.
Does this mean I'm your research assistant?
That and more, my darling girl.
Takes me back. Those were good times. The best times.
hay que pausarlo un momento. Veamos.
One of Winston's notes. He always hid sweets for me to find.
¿Qué dice? Ladder. No lo entiendo qué es lo primero. ¿Es el nombre del pastel? To William Blake. Cakes next to William Blake. Supongo que es una estatua. Y sí, supongo que es un tipo de pastelilla. Ah, ese dinosaurio.
I've reached the monastery. As Roth predicted, it was hidden deep in the Himalayas. And now that I'm standing on these high stone walls, I am overwhelmed by the sheer beauty of the mountains that surround me. It is simply breathtaking. But what adds to their spiritual majesty is the truth of this place. The monks welcomed me, as is their way, but they seemed to expect me. They must have known someone like me would eventually come seeking answers. I know this is the place. They've conducted the ritual before. I have seen the evidence, the distinctive symbols carved into the floors, the art displayed on the inner chamber's walls. They've created the elixir before, and they will again if I can convince them. I sent Amelia a message straight away. I want her by my side for this discovery.